So I'm going to give you a little review of what happened with Casey Anthony. Again, I'm just going to read it off the AI summary. Let's have a look. I say a lot of you will remember this case, even though it was a long time ago. I'm going to put a picture of Kaylee up as I'm reading it out, actually, because the only good thing is people are remembering Kaylee. So this is little Kaylee, 2 years old, beautiful little girl, happy little girl, murdered, brutally murdered, duct tape around her mouth. Whether it was just to keep her quiet and that she died by accident, I have no idea. But she was murdered. Somebody murdered her. And Casey Anthony, her own mother, went off on a month-long sort of, instead of reporting her missing, went off on her jollies, partying, drinking with her boyfriend and his mates, dancing, having a brilliant time while this little girl was missing. And eventually she was found murdered with her mouth duct taped. So, yeah, we remember Kaylee. Anyway, let's have a look at the AI overview of the case, just in case you don't remember it, because it was quite a long time ago. Some of you might not know about this case. So Casey Anthony is a Florida woman whose highly publicized 2011 trial, so 15 years ago the trial was, for the death of her 2-year-old daughter Kaylee, resulted in a controversial acquittal. Today she maintains a presence on social media, occasionally sharing updates on platforms like Tik-Tok and Substack, where she discusses legal advocacy. Oh my God, the irony. So, 2008, Casey's mother, so don't forget, it was never Casey who reported her daughter missing. It was her mother, the grandmother of Kaylee, reported 2-year-old Kaylee missing after Casey continually delayed showing her the child and gave excuses for over a month. In October 2008, Casey was charged with first-degree murder after police detected signs of human decomposition in her car boot. Kaylee's skeletal remains were discovered in December 2008 in a wooded area near the family's Orlando home. So she still had the duct tape round her mouth, just tossed like rubbish into the woods and left there. But in July 2011, a jury found Casey Anthony not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter. She was, however, convicted of 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to law enforcement. Because the other thing that she did, she first told the police that the babysitter had the baby. This baby, and she made up some woman that wasn't even real and blamed it on them. They had Kaylee. Nothing to do with her. She handed, because she'd had normally her mum, Kaylee's grandma, would have had Kaylee when Casey went off partying. But they'd had an argument. So what Casey then said was she had a babysitter for Kaylee and the babysitter had her. But this turned out to be not true. This babysitter didn't even exist. How was this woman found innocent or found not guilty? How? So despite all those lies that she told, she was found innocent. She must have had a good lawyer. I think she was having an affair with her lawyer. I can't remember all the details. The other thing we have to remember about Casey is the person, the biological father of Kaylee, or the guy who thought he was the biological father. It turned out he wasn't the biological father at all. So she'd lied about who the father was to the father himself. She's got a history of, taking husbands away from their wives. She's just not a nice person, but she is now. So according to her now, she's a lovely person now. She's just concerned with love and gay rights and, advocacy, legal advocacy. Suddenly she's a fucking brilliant person, even though she murdered her own daughter. These sort of people just make me mad. I mean, just own what you've done, whatever, or if you're not going to own up to it, just keep a low profile. She's like Hugh Edwards. They're like peas in a pod. They should get together, shouldn't they? Of course, he's because he's not gay. It's only a mental illness as far as he's concerned. So he'd be perfect for Casey, wouldn't he? Perfect couple they would make. Just sometimes you're just beyond words, aren't you? These people, just can't believe it. So anyway, let's have a look at her Substack. If we must. Well, we must, because we have to know what these people are like. Oh, so she's made a statement a little bit like what Farage said. Now, she's also planting herself. She hates Trump. That's one good thing. And she's talking about the Epstein files. Since there is a continued suppression of public information on certain platforms, TikTok, this goes to you. A friendly reminder, there are still 300,000 files associated with Jeffrey Epstein that have not been released. Do you know, but it's hard for me, I agree with her, and it's hard to read this, knowing that the Jeffrey Epstein files are about abuse towards children and she murdered her own daughter. Hard, isn't it? So she's very anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, anti-white men, moaning about, look at this, TikTok is back on their bullshit. They took this down. It's been appealed and it's going back up tomorrow. I'm going to repost this over and over again on every account. Fuck TikTok, fuck Donald Trump, fuck the blatant suppression of free speech. They don't want Donald Trump being compared to Hitler and Stalin, no matter how much evidence. We have to support it. I will be even louder now. Let the games begin. And, you'd read that and you think, oh, that's brave. And then when you remember who it is, the child murderer, you're speechless. So this is her blog, The Real Casey Anthony. The Real Casey Anthony. Just beyond words, isn't it? Researcher, consultant, advocate, activist, author, LGBTQIA and ally. We are the resistance. We do not bow to mediocre white men. So she's aligning herself with the gay community and the black community, I suppose. Now, the real reason she's doing this is because she's got a book coming out soon. This is her book coming out soon. Who is she really? It's called. Well, we know who she is. she's a child murderer. That's who she is. Not according to her, though. Who is she really? My name is Casey. Is there any name is Casey? Let's see what the comments are. Now she has a loud comment. Oh no. Comments on this post are only for paid subscribers. That's funny, isn't it? You can only comment if you're a paid subscriber. It'd be worth paying to subscribe just to tell her what you think of her, really. So 11 years ago, love wins always. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, any of my gay followers out there, please tell me, you know, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about... Well, I can't say convicted child killer because she wasn't convicted. What the hell is going on? So she's sort of restacking and talking about things. Look, about ICE. Make it make sense that you can face more time in jail. Oh, hang on, I need to share it. Make it make sense that you can face more time in jail under this administration for picking up paint chips from the reflecting pool than raping or molesting a child. You can be shot in the street for peacefully protesting, for recording ICE agents, called a terrorist by the DOJ, and yet more than 1,500 members of the MAGA party were pardoned and rewarded for their intentional attacks on government buildings and government officials. There is more value. You know, if I didn't know who was writing this, I'd be thinking, yeah, I agree with that. There is more, but this, to me, it takes away from... Now I don't want to be, you know, I'm thinking, oh, you know, maybe I don't like it that it's her who's saying it. There is more value assigned to billionaires and veterans who have served our country. We are days away from the 250th anniversary of the United States, and we're more divided today than ever in our history. You know, the way she's talking as if she didn't murder her daughter. This is no longer the home of the free, but it will remain the home of the brave as we continue to speak out and fight this corrupt and unjust administration. Yeah, you were really brave, weren't you, when you put duct tape around your daughter's mouth? Fuck the patriarchy. Another day, another reminder to fight for the rights of others. What about Kaylee's rights? Oh my God, honestly. So, that's her Substack. She's reinvented herself. She's got a book coming out. Who is she really? She's not a child killer. And to be fair, she was never convicted of it. So we have to think of her. She's not a child killer. But we know she is, really. As I said, video, the judge himself had to read through the verdict twice because he could not believe that it was not guilty. What the hell happened? There was overwhelming evidence. You know, there were maggots in the back of her car. Maggots, where a dead body had been in the back of her car. Just, you know, it seems like every day I'm speechless about something these days. Just, you know, life is weird. That was it, Lily. Zanny the nanny, she said, had taken a little Kaylee that was with Kaylee, and it must have been her who killed her. you say, Kelly, who's listening to her anyway? She's got loads of followers. Loads. Thousands and thousands. Someone's listening to her. See, some people, this is why it's important for us to keep talking about this, because there will be people out there who don't know about what she's done, don't know about her court case, don't know about Kaylee, and just see her, oh, there she is, she's advocating, she's anti-Trump, she's pro-gay rights, how brilliant, what a fantastic woman. They won't know about her previous history. So that's why it's important that we talk about it and make sure people do know the truth. So, right, we're going to have a look at this. So I'll watch this. I do like Nancy Grace because she just says it as it is. We're going to watch her. She did a podcast about it. And we're going to watch it. We won't watch all of it. We're going to watch, the important bits. Because she's got all the photos there of Casey. I need to like that. When she was off having a great time. So bear in mind, a month that little girl was lying in the woods. Duct tape, dead. Duct tape over her mouth. Wrapped in her favourite blanket with a kiss emoji thing over where her mouth was, like a sticker. Just dumped. Poor little Kaylee. And you know what? She has nothing to say about children's rights. So if she didn't kill Kaylee, why isn't she advocating for the rights of children who are murdered, like her daughter was murdered? Why isn't she doing that? Because she murdered her. That's why. We know why, really.
The return of Tot Mom. If you're of Tot Mom, TikTok stardom ahead, and go away. Good evening.
Emergency. I called a little bit ago. The deputy sheriff said I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month.
Yeah, this is the grandma. The 911 call to report Kaylee missing. And my daughter's just told me she's been missing for a month. I mean, she's genuinely upset, you can tell, but as time goes on, I did lose sympathy for the mum, because you know what? The mum, Casey Anthony, is such an entitled brat. And the mum and dad are responsible for that. They tried to, I know they're trying to support their daughter, but she threw them right under the bus. She blamed it on the dad. She's a vile woman.
Something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Kaylee.
That brings it back home to the discovery, and I went and looked at the spot where Kelly Anthony's body was bagged in trash bags from Tot Mom Casey Anthony's home and thrown in a swampy area covered in trash and used tires.
Yeah, so she was put in a trash bag, thrown in a swampy area. That's what she did to her daughter. Just unbelievable.
Just out of a swamp. And that is where Kelly decomposed. This beautiful little girl, the shining light of her grandparents' eyes, in a swamp, decaying. And now this?
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since.
I'm a legal advocate. I'm a researcher. See, she's inventing herself. People will be watching this and won't even know who she is. Her TikToks. People will watch it and they go, oh, she's a legal advocate. She's a researcher. Not a child murderer, because she never mentions Kaylee. She's not advocating for children's rights because that bring up what she did. Horrible, vile woman.
2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Okay. Well, I need to see that again. That's from Casey Anthony's official TikTok account at Casey Anthony _Substack. P.S. If you don't know what Substack means, it means money to her in her pocket. I'll explain that. I've got to see this again.
I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity, I feel that it's necessary, if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate, that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter.
Okay, that's from Top Mom Casey Anthony's TikTok account at Casey Anthony _Substack. Whoa. Legal advocate? No, you're not.
I just love Nancy, you know. I notice how she starts about justice for me first. Everything for her is me. Sorry, I just, everything is about her. You'll see later on, or if we get to that bit, you know, when the police were around at her house and the parents took out photos of Kaylee, or when some reporter was around the house, and then this twonk, she's like got out the baby photos of when she was a baby and said, oh look, wasn't I cute when I was a baby? Oh my God, total narcissist.
You were tried for the murder of your little girl. Legal advocate, my rear end. And whoa, did I hear her say she's been involved? Let me look at this. In the legal system since 2011. You mean when you were tried for murder? Joining me, an all-star panel. But I just want to remind everybody what this is really about. No one would even know her name if it weren't for this.
There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Kaylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Haley Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, is she white, black, or Hispanic?
She's white.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
What is her date of birth?
2000, oh God, she's 3. She's 2005. So it's
That is Cindy Anthony, Kelly's grandmother, calling, reporting her missing. Not Tot Mom, her own mother. Advocate for my daughter? Advocate for my daughter? Who called 911? Not you. Listen.
Casey said Danny took her a month ago. She's been missing for a month.
Okay, I understand. Can you calm down for me for just a minute, and I need to know what's going on, okay? I'm gonna try and
Advocate for my daughter. Joining me, Joe Scott Morgan, renowned death investigator, professor at Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Reality check. You know, finding out that Tot Mom is offering a Substack. In other words, you go listen to her and she gets money. By the way, Joe Scott, already, just her announcement has racked up over 3 million views. She gets paid for that if there are ads in there. All of that money is going into her pocket. Harsh reality. No.
So yeah, 3 million views. That's lots of people are listening to her. 3 million views.
One would even know her name if she had not been charged with murdering her daughter. Tell me what happened to Kelly.
I can tell you what.
Right, I just want to give a warning here because I think he might go into some details about the body, so just a trigger warning. And yeah, the thing is, who did murder Kaylee then? If she didn't do it, like you say, Kelly, why isn't she looking for the murderer? Well, do you know what? Because she said she put her father in the frame for it. She is a vile, I mean, she's, you know, we do talk about a lot of vile people, but every now and again we come up against someone who is totally vile.
The end result was all we have left now are skeletal remains, period. As a matter of fact, her body, Nancy, was so badly decayed after they recovered it from that brushy area out there in that swamp-like environment that they could not even come to a conclusion about what her specific cause of death. It's non-specified homicidal means, and it's absolute.
Joe Scott, excuse me,
Yeah.
wasn't duct tape wrapped around the baby's mouth and nose with a heart sticker stuck on it? That gives me a pretty good idea as to how she died. You think you could survive with duct tape wrapped around your nose and mouth?
I'll go one better than that, Nancy. It wasn't around her nose and mouth. It was around her skull. Just let that sink in just for a second. That's what was done to.
So, I knew I could have cried. So, duct tape, not only around her nose and mouth, which is bad enough, of course, maybe to smother her, but he's saying around her skull, her whole skull, covered in duct tape. And you know why? Because this twat wanted to go off partying with a boyfriend. You'll see the photos in a minute of what she was doing in that month when Kaylee was missing. So while Kaylee was lying in the swamp with her head covered in duct tape, decomposing, Casey was out partying without a care in the world. Oh my God. After just discarding this little girl, her own daughter, wrapping duct tape around her whole skull to kill her. That's how she will have killed her. And there was so little left of this girl that they couldn't make a definitive cause of death. But, you know, when someone's got duct tape wrapped around their whole skull, it's pretty obvious, I suppose. Poor little thing. Poor little thing.
This child, she's cast off like garbage,
Yeah.
Nancy. And then, you know, insult to injury here, we're talking a month down range before anyone says peep about her missing. And all the while, she's been out there just in a state of decay, Nancy. And as you know, Florida is a very harsh environment. There was hardly anything left that scientifically we could really hang our hats on to try to understand what had actually happened to her.
You know, just saying that, Joe Scott Morgan, and think about it. Every day, Tot Mom, Casey Anthony would pass that spot. As I said, it's about 10 houses down from the Anthony home, and you come out of their cul-de-sac, and if you turn right, well, you have to pass it. Do you know, Joe Scott, I don't think I've ever told you this. I have never been back to where my fiance was murdered. Never.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stand to look at it and know that's where he was murdered. But she passed this every day and never said a word day by day. Think about it, Joe Scott. As each hour passes, what happened to Kelly's body? When did flies show up and lay eggs? When did her flesh start slipping off of her body? I know it's harsh, Joe Scott, but this is the reality.
Yeah, you're right. And in that environment, it's so harsh down there, Nancy. And to think that this person could have moved back and forth across this, and court said that she didn't know, or that at least they didn't find her guilty of it. But come on.
She drove past that site where she dumped a baby girl. Drove past it daily. Didn't give a shit. Didn't give a shit. Did not give an absolute flying fuck that there lying in there in that swamp was her baby girl. Duct tape around her head, just dumped because she wanted to go off partying.
Give me a break. You're driving by this every single day, and that precious little angel is out there in a state of decay. I can't even begin to plumb the depths of how evil.
What happens first, Joe Scott? What happens first when her body is in that bag? What happens in the first 5 hours of her body being in that bag?
Yeah, just within the first 5 hours, particularly in Florida, you're going to have the presence of flies being attracted to this area. And people say, well, she's in a bag. No. Flies always find a way. They get in, and then they begin, or they kind of aid in this process of decomposition. And it's sped up very, very quickly in that environment, Nancy. And having worked in Louisiana, that's very similar to this, I've actually seen fly eggs laid on the eyes and the mouth and the nose within 3 hours of death.
Yet today, Tot Mom Casey Anthony returns to Tik-Tok stardom. Listen.
There are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur. And when necessary, people needed to step up, myself included.
That is from @CaseyAnthony_Substack. Okay, I just heard her say there are people close to me that have been targeted. Like Kelly?
Is your daughter there?
I'm on the phone with them.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her? Do you mind if I speak with her? Thank you.
I called them 2 hours ago. They haven't gotten here. They finally admitted them there. He took her months ago.
Ma'am.
Okay, they want to talk to you. Answer the question. Hello?
Yeah. So you could see that the grandma, the Gma, she is genuinely heartbroken, panicking. Where is this little girl? Listen to this bitch.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. Well, can you tell me what's going on a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days. No emotion, nothing. She does not give a flying fuck. How was she ever found innocent?
do you know who has her?
I know who has her. I've tried to contact her. I actually received a phone call today, now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to speak to my daughter for about a minute.
Okay, did you guys call and report a vehicle?
Oh, did you hear what she said? I managed to speak to my daughter for about a minute today. So there you go. That was a complete... How was she found not guilty? So she's on the phone there as calm as anything. You could hear how upset the Gma was. Heartbroken, panicking. Where is my granddaughter? She comes on. She's as calm as a cucumber. And she lied and said, oh, yeah, I know who she's with. I haven't been able to get hold of her for 31 days. But I spoke to my daughter today. Total lies. She'd been dead for a month.
Phone?
Yes, my mom did.
All of that is a lie. She is describing her daughter being taken by the nanny, and today she's saying people close to me have been targeted and attacked. Really? What about Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez? That's a real person that was attacked and wrongly named by her. That's a real person That's a woman wandering around minding her own business. They got dragged into Top Mom Casey Anthony's vortex. Listen, she even spells the name, for Pete's sake.
Who has her? Do you have a name?
Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
Who is that? Babysitter?
She's been my nanny for about a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
I've been looking for her and have gone through other resources to try to find her, which was stupid.
Okay. Can you give me the name of the nanny again? Like, spell it out for me?
Zenaida, Zenaida.
Last name?
Fernandez. Gonzalez.
Man, what a...
Spells out the name of this poor woman who hasn't done anything. First of all, she throws her under the bus. Later on, when that doesn't work, she throws her own father under the bus.
Liar. She even knows how to put the hyphen Gonzalez. There's actually a real person out there named Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez. And isn't it true, to Shanna Butler joining me right now, investigative reporter, WFTV, Channel 9, Florida, this jurisdiction, that when the apartment where Tot Mom says she dropped off baby.
I'm going to fast forward it. I'm not going to play all of this. I want to get to the bit where she's showing the photos. I mean, obviously, if you want to watch the whole thing, let's just watch it from here. You could go on to Nancy Grace to watch the whole podcast. It's very interesting. But really, what I've got to finish in a minute, but I want to show you the photos of her having a bloody brilliant time. While in the meantime, her daughter is rotting in a swamp with her head covered in
entire 31 days that she apparently had this baby. She acted like nothing was wrong. My point is her demeanor. What was her demeanor when you were around her, Rob Dick?
Definitely not a person who is, quote, missing.
Rob Dick, Casey Anthony's former bodyguard. Okay, whatever. I don't really want to hear from him. I want to see the pictures of what a bloody brilliant time she was having. There is somewhere. Let's try that.
Child. I mean, she never acted like that. She acted like there was nothing wrong.
I thought everything would just be fine. Well, it went from that to George Anthony molested me and my daughter. And then he killed my daughter to cover up the molestation. But there's another theory as to why Tot Mom hatched the molestation story. Listen.
So yeah, the thing is, when she got nowhere with the bodyguard, with the nanny story, she then started blaming her father for it, saying he'd abused both her and the little girl.
Cindy Anthony claims in the new special on A&E, Casey Anthony's Parents, the lie detector test, that the reason her daughter Casey Anthony accused her father of molestation is because she found out that her father, George Anthony, was the main witness to testify against her in front of the grand jury, besides the sheriff's department detective. When asked why he testified in front of the grand jury, George Anthony says he believed his daughter, Casey Anthony, belonged in jail.
What about that, defense attorney Troy Slayton, joining us out of L.A.? You gave me this big song and dance about the baby. Your old little...
Sorry, I'm just fast forward because I haven't got much time now. I've got to go.
George molested anybody.
You're calling Casey Anthony
Tell me it.
Use this platform that was thrust upon me, and now look at
a proponent for the... What? Did they ask you to be their advocate? They have enough problems with people attacking them every day just because of who they are. Nothing more. With friends like this, who needs an enemy? I don't think they want you advocating for them, Tot Mom. What, like you advocated for your daughter or your mother or your father who you continue to take advantage of? That is from Tot Mom's TikTok account at Casey Anthony _Substack. There's more. Listen.
My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they actually know where they can turn to.
Now, here is the woman who is asking for your money, talking about privacy. I've never seen anything like it since Harry and Meghan and their worldwide privacy tour. Listen.
I will explain in great detail why it's so important.
Look, I don't think it's fair to bring Harry and Meghan into it. They didn't murder their 2-year-old.
For people to protect their privacy. It's not just important to public figures, it's even more important to private individuals. And with the current climate in our country especially, it's that much more important.
That's from the official TikTok account at Casey Anthony _Substack. Privacy. Let's see. How maintain your privacy? Possibly don't get in a bar fight.
So you just need an incident report?
Yeah. If you can send that to me, I can send it to you. That would be no problem. Yeah, no, I have it saved for stuff like this.
Why don't you file a restraining order?
I didn't have enough to file a restraining order. I had to have actual threats. Her texting was not enough. Her showing up where I was not enough. This is enough. In front of witnesses.
I'll tell you why Tot Mom Casey Anthony didn't file a restraining order after that bar fight from our friends at Channel 6. Because nobody would believe that she was the victim. And there's more. Maintain privacy. Don't get in a bar fight.
Again, I apologize. I said non-emergency. Her friend was here. Several people that I've known for years are here as witnesses, if necessary. So I'm not trying to file a restraining order. I just want it to stop. And I know a restraining order at most is good for 6 months, and it can go away. Right.
Well, we'll document the incident that happened. And I'll put it as verbal threats because you said that she keeps coming to
and
you.
You can tell she threw a drink at me.
So, anyway, I just can't seem to find the photos of her having a bloody brilliant time. Dancing, taking drugs, throwing up in the toilet in that month that Casey was missing. That was what she was doing. Kaylee was missing. Casey was just having a great time. She's still going to bars and getting into trouble. And so why couldn't she just keep a low profile? You know, if your daughter had been murdered. Oh, well, anyway, I've just run out of words, to be honest, about it. So, there you go. I just wanted to tell you about these two twonks that have decided to reinvent themselves on Substack. Hugh Edwards, the gay man who thinks he's got mental illness. And then we've got Casey Anthony, the murderer of her own child, who is advocating for gay rights. Oh my God. You just couldn't make it up, could you? You literally could not make it up. Now we have to remember Casey Anthony was found innocent or found not guilty of her daughter's murder. So we have to remember that. But anyway, you'll all make your own mind up. If you look at, I may do some more videos about this. I don't know, because I want to keep Kaylee's name alive. Nobody's been held accountable for Kaylee's death. You know, this little girl, one thing we do know, somebody murdered her. She didn't put duct tape around her skull herself and put herself in a trash bag and throw herself in a swamp. Somebody did it to her. Nobody's been held accountable. She was taken to court and found not guilty. And as I say, the judge could not believe it. How did that happen? You know, her car boot was full of maggots, the smell of death. Nowadays, she wouldn't have got away with it, I don't think. Anyway, this poor little girl, she would have been in her 20s, maybe graduated, got a boyfriend or a girlfriend, maybe children even, herself. And her life was stolen from her, probably by her own mother, who is now out there telling everybody what a fucking fantastic person she is, an advocate, of this, that, and the other, and she's got a book coming out. I'm angry, as you can tell. But anyway, and Hugh Edwards, he's another one, but she's worse. She's worse than him, isn't she? This is her own daughter. And not only that, she then tried to throw the nanny under the bus and say the nanny had done it. And then when that didn't work, she said her own father had done it. And that he'd abused her, well, I think he's her stepfather. He'd abused both her and the little girl with no evidence whatsoever. Okay, right, I'm going. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave your DNA on the subscribe button, on the like button. Press those notifications. God bless this little girl. Prayers for her. Put your candles up for her. She was the victim in it all. Not her, not bloody Casey, who tell us she's the victim. What happened to her? Oh, it's terrible. What happened to me? What about what happened to this little one? Okay, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, stay cool. May your God go with you. Bye.